Antics, welcome to my channel. Hope you are well today and happy Easter to all out there who are celebrating. It's not the traditional Easter that we are used to. It is a lovely long weekend if you are lucky enough to have it off. Fortunate for me, I am able to have the Easter bank holiday off, but my colleagues aren't, so sending all the love out there to all the NHS and essential workers that have to work over this bank holiday Easter weekend as well. Obviously we are in a bit of a lockdown, it's all a bit negative out there what's going on, and it's not really a light situation to be discussing, but I thought I would try and distract a bit from that, add a little bit of positivity and get a bit creative in spreading a bit more positiveness around during this time. So in this video we're looking at how to make a stuffed toy bunny like this one in this pattern. This is a Simplicity 15490 sewing pattern, and I've had this a few years. I've made the fox and the owl before for my niece, and I thought with it being Easter, why not have a go at making this cute little bunny again for my niece as an Easter present. Obviously I'm not able to see my niece at the moment due to the lockdown, so it'd be something nice to give her after all this is over. She's going to have a lot of stuff that I've made because I am in full creative mode. So if you want to see how this bunny turns out, I'll have a go at following this pattern or any sewing pattern, a few tips from it, then let's get crafting. For the bunny you are going to need 3 different material, one for the base, one for the body and one for the applique of the ears. You want to start by placing on your pattern pieces onto the relevant pieces of material. So for the head, arms, legs and ears I am using a grey and white polka dot cotton material. Now for the headpiece you will need 2 pieces for the pattern piece, so fold the material in half, placing your pattern piece on top. This should give you the 2 pieces. Then for the arms, legs and ears you're going to need 4 pieces per pattern piece, so fold the material in half and then half this again. This should give you 4 layers to the material. Place on your pattern pieces as needed. For the body part of the bunny I am using a really nice patterned piece of material that I got from Aldi, and it's from the Disney collection. Now you want to make sure you work out which way you want the fabric to run, so have a look on the pattern piece and it does give you the arrows for the grain. Because this pattern runs one way, you want to make sure it's the right way up, so I want the top of this material to be at the top of the top, if you get what I mean, and not upside down. So fold this in half as you need it, save on material, so make sure you only fold as much as you need, and then pin the pattern in place, making sure the straight edge is along the fold. Then for the ears I am using a bit of material that I used to make my Christmas stockings, just to give the ears a bit of a shine and sparkle. And all your pattern pieces are ready to now be cut out. You want to cut around your pattern pieces as close to the edge as possible, keeping the material as flat as possible. If you pick this up to cut around it, it is going to maybe make the material move and you could end up cutting it wrong, so try and keep it as flat as possible. Doesn't matter if you aren't quite to the edge of your pattern piece, because you can actually cut this down. For the pieces that are joined but you need them separating, just cut along the fold line, because if you've placed your straight edge along the fold it makes it easier to cut along this to give you the 2 separate pieces. Once all your pattern pieces are cut out, you want to take note of which ones you need to place some notches in before you remove that pattern piece. So just snip in where the triangle part of your pattern piece is. Be careful not to cut too deep like I think I did here, it was a little bit too much, so just be careful there. Then you want to grab your iron and just gently press out all of your pattern pieces to make them nice and smooth and a bit easier to sew. In this pattern pack you do get a little bit where you can cut out a nose shape for your bunny. So using a bit of black felt, I place this onto the felt and cut around it to give me the cute little bunny nose. If you don't have any felt, then you could actually sew a nose on using some thread and back stitching it a bit like an embroidered nose, which would still give it a really nice effect. On one of the head pieces of material, you want to make sure this is facing right side up, so the pattern side is facing towards you, and place over the head piece of pattern paper. Then using some tailor's chalk, just add some little dots where your eyes, nose and mouth pieces end and start, so that you can then applique these on with the felt and hand sewing some embroidery style eyes and mouth. If you are using a felt nose, you want to just pin this into place so that you can sew it on securely. To start the face part of your bunny off, you want to secure the nose part in place. So using some black thread to blend in with the black felt, just hand sew this on using a straight stitch, I think it is called, or a basic stitch. You just go all around the outside to make sure the nose is secured on. Then you want to hand sew on the mouth part, so this is basically using your stitching with the needle and thread to create the shape of the mouth. How I did this is, I think, slight embroidery style, although I am not very good at hand sewing. This is just normal cotton thread. You take the thread up with a knot at the back of the material, bring this down as in one loop of the stitch, and then when you are bringing the next stitch up, bring this part way through the existing or the first stitch that you did, just to give it a bit of a thicker line and continuity. So then follow it around and sort of eyeball where you want the mouth to go. That's how I did it. Like I say, I am not the best hand sewer, but I think it's turned out okay. Then you want to add in the eyes using the same method. I did mine curving upwards rather than curving downwards, that was on the pattern. Then it's time to make your ear pieces, so you want to make sure you have paired up your 4 ear pieces together. Using the front or top ear piece, you want to attach your applique part of the ear. So this is the ear where it's going to look a bit different and using a different piece of material and appliquing it on. So you want to pin it in place in the middle. The pattern piece does have guidelines of where to place this, but I just eyeballed it because why not, wing it sometimes. And then you want to attach this to the front of the ear using a zigzag stitch all around the outside. Then it's time to place the 2 parts of your ear together. So you want to place them together right side to right side, so the newly applique piece will be on the inside, and then just sew a seam around the edges, leaving the bottom raw edge open so that you can turn the ear right side out. Add in some notches around the curved parts of the ears so that when you turn it right side out, it does go a little bit better and a bit smoother. Then you want to turn the ears right side out and grab your iron again and just press these flat so that they are nice and smooth. Place the ears to one side, and then you want to attach the front part of the head to the front part of the body together. There should be a notch in the middle of each of these. You want to make sure these are lined up. Then just sew a straight seam so that you are attaching the 2 pieces together like so. Make sure that you are placing right side to right side when doing this, and back stitch each end to make sure they are fully secured together. Using the head pattern piece, just place this loosely over your newly appliqued face, and grabbing the newly made ears, you'll see that there are 4 dots in the corners of the head for you to pin on your ears. You want to then turn your machine to the largest stitch possible and loosely secure the ears in place to the front of the head. Then place this to one side and begin constructing your arms and legs of the bunny. So what you want to do is place your right sides to right sides together and then sew a small seam around the outside, clipping the curved parts before turning inside out. Once the arms and legs are turned the right side out, you want to just give these a quick press with your iron to make them smooth, and then it is time to lightly stuff these. I am using offcuts from the pom-poms that I made a while ago when I made the pom-pom cushions, and these make really good stuffers for your toys because they are nice and soft, and why not recycle? Once these are lightly stuffed, you then want to keep your machine at the largest stitch possible and just do a based stitch, I think it's called, just to keep this in place. Grab the head and body part of the bunny and place over the body part of the pattern, because this has indicators where you need to put your arms and legs. Pin the arms and legs into place. And again, keeping your sewing machine on the largest stitch, you want to baste these into place. This will just stop them from moving when you are sewing your whole bunny together. Trust me, I have done this without stitching them to the main body, and they have moved and not captured into the full side seams. So you want to make sure you do baste them into place. Make sure when you are pinning and basting them into place that you are folding them in on itself onto the body, because once it is captured into the side seam of the whole bunny, these will fold out much better, and this is how you should attach them. I am also adding into place a little product label just to give it a bit more professional look. Then it is time to fully construct the bunny together, so you want to make sure you have attached the back head and the back body together, similar to how you did the front part. Match up the two seams here from back to front, placing materials right side to right side. Pin it all in place and then leave a gap in between where the legs parts of the bunny are, because this is where you will turn the bunny right side out and add in your stuffing. Do a little seam, make sure you capture in all of the arms and legs before turning it right side out, because it is much harder to turn it back inside out once you have pulled it all the way right out. Then once you're happy, pull the bunny right side out. Like I say, it is a bit of a struggle because the hole is quite small, so just be careful and make sure you have backstitched both edges of this. Then you want to give your bunny a quick press, making sure the open seam where you're going to stuff it are folded in and pressed into place, because it makes it much easier to sew up at the end. Then using some stuffing again, you want to place this into the bunny. Now this can take a while because it is such a small opening to stuff it with, and the pom-pom pieces do get everywhere, so if you do have toy stuffing, that is perfect to use. And then your bunny is ready to be stitched up. And finally, it is time to close up the bunny, so use a ladder stitch or an invisible stitch to secure these raw edges together and to stop the stuffing from coming out. So basically you go from one side to the other side, going from underneath, over, underneath, over, and pulling tight. It should then conceal the seam. Again, I'm not a very neat hand sewer, so it doesn't quite look like that when I've done it, but then your stuffed bunny toy is ready to go. So you have how to make a stuffed bunny toy using the Simplicity K1549 OS sewing pattern. I can't believe I got that right. It's such a tongue twister for me, I don't know why. I think this has turned out really, really cute. I like the contrast to the different colours and material that I've used. Now what is good with this sewing pattern is you can use whatever colours you like and whatever fabrics you like to really get creative and make something really unique. I think my niece is going to love this, hopefully anyway, because that's what she's getting for Easter. It has turned out a lot better than the fox and the owl ones that I have made her previously. I don't know whether this is because I'm slightly better at sewing and I'm getting more into practice with it again, or because I actually followed the sewing pattern instructions that are included. Who knew following the instructions would actually get you the proper end result? So yes, if you are using any sewing patterns, make sure you do have the instructions to hand, because they are actually really useful and they're not just there to add a bit of paper to the pattern. They do actually really help you make the end result and product. So if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to keep up with more of my crafting antics coming up onto the channel. There probably won't be much travel going on this year until the whole pandemic and lockdown and we are safe to do so, so there's probably going to be a lot more creativeness coming up onto the channel. Check out the blog link below as well, because there's a ton more information over on Ames's Antics, and I will see you in the next video. Bye!